just a quite a departure from anything anybody had ever heard before. Dazed and Confused. Starts with that bass, that wonderful bass line. Doom, 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 doom. Might be the first bass line any bass player learns.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's an amazing song, very dark song.
Yes.
And the death, a destruction kind of end of blues is just the real sort of like wheelhouse for Led Zeppelin. Jimmy Page, famously follower of Aleister Crowley's writings. Aleister Crowley wrote a lot about the occult.
Yep.
So he just interested, I think, in the topic of the occult and dark forces and the devil and that kind of thing. To me, all a joke, not anything to be afraid or scared of. To many parents, I think, became a source of like, oh, don't listen to Led Zeppelin, they'll lead you down the dark, path, dangerous path. But the horror, really, of Dazed and Confused, I think, is truly the birth of heavy metal. And we soon have Black Sabbath,
exactly,
and all these different heavy metal bands that are just like diving really deep into the pentagrams and Slayer and that kind of thing. Has to just come straight from Dazed and Confused, and the amazing, wonderful sounds that he gets out of his guitar, sometimes played with a bow.
Yes, that's right. I remember reading a lot about the occult stuff in Zeppelin in that book, Hammer of the Gods, I believe it was called. And I checked that out in high school from a public library, and just fascinating. And there were a lot of these allegations levied that they were satanic, and Jimmy Page was in a cult, and all this kind of,
they were eating women and ridiculous stuff like that,
eating animals and heads of animals and stuff. But I can see why this Dazed and Confused does get played sometimes, but I find it to be a very haunting, spooky kind of track. And even more so when you realize that it was played by the Yardbirds in concert in '68, including several radio and television sessions. So it had been around a while. And that's when Page started playing with the violin bow. And there's some later recordings you can find on, I think it was on the deluxe box set of Zeppelin 1, where they really would go all out and jam on this one. It would be a long 15 minutes.
A long I think in the song that remains the same, there's a
in the movie
25-minute version of it, mostly featuring the Jimmy Page with the bow kind of
that's
solo.
Like a iconic image of him standing there with the bow. And
I bought a bow just to try to
have you tried that before?
With it.
It's hard.
It's impossible. It's that, like, I got even more respect for him, because I'm like, you can't, like a normal guy dicking around with the guitar cannot play that thing. And there was an early version of this, I think, with Keith Rolfe singing. That's on that James Patrick Page Session Man, which I'm sure you can find streaming or out there somewhere. And it's dark, but not as dark as this, because they don't have the full power of John Bonham. And talk about screeching of, like, when they come back in after the solo, and it's like when that starts playing, and then Plant's like playing along with the guitar there, and a fantastic guitar solo, and it's blistering as it is, and then it goes down, and it's like even harder somehow. And then you come in with that bombastic sort of drum, like you can hardly keep up with it. And then somehow they all get back to dum dum dum, like just right in sync and perfect. It's just such a great moment in music.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a good closer for the first side. If you're listening to it on LP, kind of leaves you haunted in a sense. Whoa.
Oh, and a fantastic ending too. Just really great. And we mentioned the variety of guitar tones he gets. But I think this is the highlight piece of this album for Jimmy Page as far as his tones.
His innovation, and experimentation. And we talked in our previous episode about how Jimi Hendrix would make a guitar sound like something else. I think Page would do the same, and he was in charge. He really was in charge of all the technical stuff, whereas I don't think Hendrix, he wasn't the producer in the same way as Page. So I think Page could sit around and really futz around with lots of different sounds and effects and keep it really interesting. And he certainly did on this song. So it's a great one.
The live version, to me, sometimes I'm just like, am I in the mood for a 30-minute,
No, maybe it's better if you're there. Like if you're actually seeing, if you were there watching them, might be cool to see. Yeah. But to listen to, it's a little tiring.
Yeah. But this album version, listening to it all week, it's like anytime it comes on, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's a classic. Let's go.
Yeah.